You think you choose what you watch, that you scroll, browse, and click based on mood, taste, or free time. That when Netflix recommends a show, it's simply helping you decide faster. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Netflix isn't reacting to your taste. Your taste is reacting to Netflix. Every pause, every rewind, every late-night binge quietly teaches the system who you are and what you'll crave next. What if your preferences weren't discovered, but slowly built for you? Netflix presents itself as entertainment, a library of shows, movies, and documentaries waiting patiently for your choice. An endless buffet where freedom feels unlimited and control feels optional. That story is comforting and incomplete, because Netflix stopped being a streaming company the moment it realized something far more valuable than content was being created every second you watched. Behavior, not ratings, not reviews. Behavior measured in milliseconds. How long you hover before clicking, which episode you abandon, where you stop for the night, what time you return the next day. Most people believe algorithms recommend content based on what's good. But Netflix doesn't optimize for quality, it optimizes for continuity. The goal isn't to help you find the perfect show, the goal is to keep you watching, long enough to learn what kind of watcher you are. And once Netflix understands that, something subtle happens. The platform stops adapting to your taste and starts shaping the content around the behavior it already knows you can't resist. This isn't manipulation in the dramatic sense. It's quieter, cleaner, and far more effective. So how did entertainment quietly turn into one of the most powerful prediction machines ever built? You probably believe Netflix watches what succeeds, then copies it. A hit show appears, audiences love it, and the platform commissions something similar. That feels logical, safe, familiar. But Netflix doesn't start with stories. It starts with signals. Before a show exists, the system already knows how people behave when faced with certain ingredients. Strong female lead, short episodes, slow burn, dark color palette, cliffhanger endings. These aren't creative guesses. They're behavioral patterns extracted from billions of viewing sessions. Netflix learned that people don't binge because a show is great. They binge because friction is removed at exactly the right moments. Autoplay, instant next episode, no credits pause, no decision gap. The real product isn't the show, it's the uninterrupted behavioral loop. This breaks a common belief, that Netflix predicts taste by analyzing content. In reality, Netflix predicts you by analyzing behavior, then commissions content that fits the behavior it already understands. So when a series feels made for you, it's not because Netflix discovered your taste. It's because your past behavior trained the system to build something you wouldn't stop watching. This is where power shifts. Because once a platform knows what keeps humans engaged without conscious effort, creativity becomes secondary. Stories don't lead behavior anymore. Behavior leads stories. But what happens when your own habits become the blueprint for future entertainment? Here's the unsettling part most people never consider. Netflix doesn't just learn what you like, it learns what people like before they know it themselves. When millions of viewers pause at the same moments, rewatch the same scenes, or abandon episodes at the same timestamps, patterns emerge that no human editor could ever see. That's when prediction overtakes preference. The algorithm starts nudging behavior instead of following it, slightly reordering recommendations, testing thumbnails, altering descriptions, changing which shows appear effortless to start and which feel distant. You feel free, but the environment has already been tuned. This creates a quiet fear, not of control, but of drift, because the more you rely on the system to choose for you, the less often you practice choosing at all. Over time, taste narrows, attention shortens, tolerance for slow, demanding stories fades. Netflix doesn't need to censor content. It simply promotes what aligns with proven behavioral loops and lets everything else sink. So the danger isn't that Netflix tells you what to watch. It's that the platform slowly trains you how to watch and what kind of viewer you become in the process. That's the moment entertainment stops being passive and starts shaping the mind that consumes it. And once behavior shapes content at scale, a deeper rule quietly takes over. This is the hidden rule Netflix discovered and quietly mastered. Prediction becomes power only when it feeds back into the system. Netflix doesn't just observe behavior, it loops it. Every action you take updates the model. Every update reshapes what gets promoted. And every promotion trains future behavior, not just yours, but millions of others simultaneously. This is a data feedback loop, and once it stabilizes, it stops asking what people want. It starts deciding what will work. Here's the belief most viewers still hold, that Netflix reacts to culture. The contradiction is harsher. Netflix produces culture by amplifying whatever patterns already show the least resistance. This is why originality feels rarer, why pacing keeps accelerating, why emotional hooks appear earlier, why endings arrive faster, or never at all. The system isn't evil, it's efficient. Efficiency, when applied to human attention, always favors what's easiest to consume, not what's most meaningful, not what's most challenging. And once that rule locks in, creators adapt, writers adjust structure, producers shape episodes for retention curves, studios pitch ideas that already resemble past successes. At that point, Netflix no longer needs to force anything. The entire ecosystem self-corrects around the algorithm's preferences. This is the real turning point, because the power isn't in recommendation, it's in selection pressure. Netflix doesn't say, "Watch this." It quietly makes some choices frictionless and others invisible. Over time, the platform becomes less a mirror of human taste and more a mold shaped by past behavior, reinforced by scale, and protected by data no competitor can replicate. Once you see this rule, the illusion breaks. You realize the algorithm isn't guessing anymore. It's remembering. So once you recognize the mold-shaping taste, the real question becomes personal. This story isn't really about Netflix. It's about how feedback loops reshape human choice everywhere they appear. The false belief is comforting, that as long as something is optional, it isn't controlling you. The contradiction is subtle. Systems don't need force when they can guide behavior through convenience. Once you understand that, Netflix becomes familiar instead of frightening, because the same structure exists in social media, in shopping platforms, in news feeds, in financial markets. The lesson isn't to quit watching, it's to notice when choice disappears, when autoplay replaces pause, when recommendation replaces exploration, when effort feels unnecessary. Those are the moments systems are doing the most work for you and learning the most about you. Clarity brings relief, because awareness restores agency. You don't need to fight the algorithm, you just need to interrupt the loop occasionally. Choose something slowly, sit with boredom. Let a story breathe instead of racing to the next one. These small acts matter more than they seem, because feedback loops only grow powerful when behavior stays predictable. Once unpredictability returns, control weakens. Netflix mastered data feedback loops to engineer taste at scale, but understanding the system gives you something back. The ability to decide when convenience serves you and when it quietly decides for you. Which raises one final question about what kind of viewer and thinker you choose to be. Today, Netflix's system is no longer unique. It's a blueprint. Every major platform now studies behavior first and content second. Short-form video trains attention. Shopping platforms train impulse. News feeds train belief reinforcement. Netflix simply proved the model at scale. The false belief is that entertainment is harmless compared to finance, politics, or technology. The contradiction is clear now. Attention is the raw material everything else competes for. When taste is engineered, demand becomes predictable. And predictability is one of the most valuable assets any system can own. This is why data-rich platforms compound power faster than content creators. Why platforms outlive trends, and why behavior, once captured, becomes difficult to reclaim. Netflix didn't just change how shows are made. It normalized a world where preference is measured, optimized, and quietly shaped until engineered taste feels natural. That's the modern impact. Not power through force, but influence through familiarity. And once you see influence this clearly, it changes how you relate to every system around you. Wealth exists for moments like this, not to tell you what to watch, buy, or believe, but to help you recognize the systems shaping those choices. Once you see the loop, you gain distance from it, and distance restores control. If this episode sharpened how you see entertainment, you're already part of the thinking class this channel is built for. Stay curious, question convenience, and remember, understanding the system is the first step to stepping outside it. Because the next empire we decode may already be shaping you in ways you haven't noticed.